Hello everyone, welcome to the official press conference reaction. Unlike the other fan channels, we will react live to Mr. Erik Ten Hag's press conference, which is live in about 10 minutes time, something like that. We've a couple of things to discuss before we actually discuss the press in itself, a few topical items and things like that. But what I want to do is just very quickly, just let me sort this out. Because what I've done, like a silly sausage, I forgot to share on bloody socials, haven't I? Let me just do this. 1 second. There we go. Started. Managed to start it. Apologies, people. So basically live for Erik Ten Hag's press conference. Big up everyone in the TikTok. Big up everyone smashing the likes on the TikTok. And everybody on the YouTube as well. Make sure you smash a like on the video and subscribe to the channel Real Reds Talk whilst we're waiting for this press conference. Got a bit of news I'm going to touch on in a second. Cameron saying shit night last night, wasn't it? Yeah, horrendous, mate. Absolutely horrendous. We'll touch on that slightly, but there's a couple of things. So for anyone who didn't know, it's literally been a year, and this time last year Erik Ten Hag was appointed the Manchester United manager. And one of the quotes I thought was interesting from January, which I saw, was he said, Man United bought players in recent years who have not been good enough. Most have been average, and average is not good enough. And then you've seen other little articles which aren't directly related to that, but stuff that's come out today. So coming out from James Ducker in the Telegraph and saying basically Ten Hag has already reached decisions on the futures of a number of players in his plans, essentially. And then the Disco reported today as well that Harry Maguire, David De Gea and Anthony Martial will all be offloaded by Manchester United this summer. And this is what the Disco, obviously Disco Mirror, it's one of them, like, you take it for what it is. But when you see the correlation between each one, is it a bit weird how they're all kind of surrounding the same subject? So yeah, that's something I thought I'd propose a question to you guys on both platforms. Let me put a poll out. I love a bit of I love some polls. I like putting my polls out. Let's put one out. So a question to you guys: who would you sell in the summer? If we've got any moderators in the chat, can you put one up, please? Same. So Martial, De Gea, Maguire. How many options can you add on this? Only 3. All 3. Ask your community. Let's see. Saying that, it's just popped up in here so I can put it on myself. So let me just put it up on TikTok as well. Zub Zenu Nub. When is the press conference? In 5 minutes, my mate. In 5 minutes. We'll be reacting live very, very shortly. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, by the way, if you haven't already. Who should we sell this summer? I don't know if you can do more than, I don't know if you can do more than 3 options on TikTok. We'll find out anyway. Yeah, you can add options. Sweet. Martial, Maguire. I mean, there's obviously more, but these are like the hot topical ones. So these are the ones we're going with. Who else? We've got David De Gea. We've got Anthony Martial. We've got Harry Maguire. Sancho is one I should have included on the YouTube one as well. And then I'll just do like a all 4 start. Yeah, you can only start a poll when what? What's that about? You can only start a poll when the existing one ends. Oh, is one already up? Okay. Fair enough. Yeah, so right, let me get this press conference we've got very live shortly. But let me know who would you sell? What players would you sell? David De Gea, Harry Maguire, Wan-Bissaka, Victor Lindelof, Scott McTominay, Sabitzer. Would you keep him now as the pendulum swung the other way there? Would you sell Jadon Sancho? Would you sign Anthony Elanga? Would you sign Weghorst on a permanent? Would you let Martial go? Let's discuss it. Let's see. Lloyd saying Arsenal win the league or City. All depends on the game, mate. I know that's very on the fence, but it all depends on the game. Whoever wins that game next week, is it next week? I think goes on and wins the title. User 340. Is it 340? Yeah, user 340 saying I'd sell them all. Wow. Big statement. Big statement. Big up everyone smashing a like on the TikTok. Appreciate you all. I saw something else, little topical as well, bit of topical news. Apparently in January, United looked at a European goalkeeper on a free transfer, but he has since signed a new contract. And that's coming from Mike McGrath, or Mike McGrath, however you say it. What do we think? Who could that be? Was it Jan Sommer? Who signed for Bayern Munich? That's the one who eventually popped into my head. I've seen a load of like jokey comments on the actual post itself saying like, is it what do you call it? Was it Ben Foster? Which obviously it wasn't, but like, do you reckon it was Jan Sommer? Because that's the first keeper that popped into my head. And I was thinking, is it? I'm not sure. Pickford. Really? Pickford. Con Foot saying hi, mate. Hello. I'll drop you a little follow, Con. Just following everyone at this moment in time. Big up to you, Con. FIFA content, love that. I do FIFA myself. Bayern signed Sommer. Yeah. It was on a contract, a free contract, wasn't it? That's why I'm saying, is there like a correlation there? I'm not entirely sure. Right, how long have we got to this press conference anyway? A couple of minutes. But yeah, that's just something to keep in mind. I will discuss that after Ten Hag's gone live himself. But the players this summer and that goalkeeper as well is something that's boggling me at the minute. But let's see. Wagwan, shall we? Thank you for the roses, Con. What a legend. Make sure you check our YouTube channel out, guys. Real Reds Talk. The link is in the bio. Live every single day, twice a day. So if you love content, you need something to listen to whilst you're on your way to work, whilst you're in the gym, whilst you're in the shower, whatever it is you're doing, check us out. JC, I think you should do a United career mode on FIFA you can show on here. I'm thinking about it. I'm working on it. Because I'm actually pretty good at FIFA. I'm not even just saying that. Like, I don't really boast about many things, but FIFA I'm actually really good at. So I do need to start doing FIFA streams. I used to do them ages ago, but stopped doing them. I don't know why. I'm going to start doing FIFA streams though. Daniel Wright saying sell De Gea, Maguire, Lindelof, Bissaka, McTominay, Fred, Sancho, Martial. Wow. Don't want to be in a situation every game like throw the dice and guess how they will perform today. I guess Ragnick was right, wasn't he? I guess Ragnick was right. All along when he was saying he needs we need to sell 10 players and it's open heart surgery and it's this and it's that. He was right. Absolutely. Right, this press conference should be live very shortly. I'm hoping. Excuse me. Because it is in London. Oh, shit. Let me do that. It is in London today, apparently. Go to the barbers. I absolutely do need to go to the barbers. You're spot on there. So I can't disagree with that. That is the longest my hair has been in a hot minute. In a hot minute. Do you have a Man United past and present on Ultimate Team? You know what? I've already had one of them teams. I think it was on like 19, FIFA 19. What was it? Who did he have on it now? Like Scholes, Keane. I can't remember if it was at United at the time. I definitely don't have Maguire in my team, so I had 3. I had David De Gea, Rashford, and a nice a few upgrades, a few blends of it, to be fair. Right, come on, why isn't it on? 5:30, we're supposed to be live. Where is it? Where are you? Yeah, Dan, that's a lot of players, that, isn't it? A lot of players. That's like a full team. De Gea, Maguire, Lindelof, Bissaka, McTominay, that's 5. Fred, Sancho, Martial, that's 8. That's literally nearly a full team of players who we potentially need to sell. So we put a poll up saying, who do you want to sell? 25% De Gea, 25% Sancho, 25% Maguire, 25% all. You could not physically get more split than that if you tried. Ideal number 9 says Cameron for next season. Ooh, Harry Kane. Harry Kane at the minute. Just perfect transition. Won't be an easy deal to do. It'll be hard, I understand. But I think he'll just hit the ground running like that. Osman's not a guarantee. When you get strikers from Italian leagues sometimes, well, a lot of the time it doesn't work out. I think the only successful ones that I can think of off the top of my head who have been successful have come over from Italy, like Bergkamp. I think he came from Juventus or Inter, I think it was. Henry, of course, Zola. Literally, probably count on one hand how many people have been successful. You look at the ones who haven't made it. It's the contrast is absolutely mega. Right, I don't know where this press conference is now. It's pissing me off. What is going on? Why is it not on? I'm on the United website, but it's not showing up. And I'm not sure why. Don't tell me it's been postponed again. Last time I was doing it, it was literally said, oh, we're going to postpone it for half an hour. I was like, sound, nice one. Absolutely love that. Dave Lewis saying technically we can only sell Maguire, I think, but let all three go if we can. That's the thing, innit? People tend to get this a little bit of FIFA fever when we're discussing transfers. Everyone thinks we're going to go into the summer and it's all going to be rosy. And it's going to be, you know, yeah, we can fling him, get rid of $1 million off the wages, sell Maguire for 50 million, sell him for that. In reality, I think the last summer, who did we sell? Just Pereira? And then most of them just went on freeze, or we sold for a couple of £1 million. Like, United are notoriously bad at selling players. And we've got notoriously high wages as well, which is why we can't sell them. So we're very counterproductive when it comes to sales in the club. Dave saying, I just mean because David De Gea and Martial have contracts that expire. Well, yeah, obviously David De Gea. What I meant by David De Gea was, would you sign a new contract? That was what I was kind of pointing out. But yeah, I take your point. It's been postponed, has it? You sure? I thought I'll just stay live anyway. I'm not bothered if it has, but yeah, absolutely not, mate. What? I'm confused. I told you before the game, mate. I saw that coming in. Brighton not doing much worse towards. You did, Jack. You're absolutely right. Maguire at number 10, getting plenty of assists currently. Oh God, wouldn't sign De Gea is what I mean. Oh right, yeah. Dave, mate, I need to speak to you about last night. Dear me, that was bad, wasn't it? Really, really bad. Just sick of signing all the strikers. We've not signed a young striker in ages. I get the whatchamacallit. I get the narrative with Harry Kane that he's too old, he's 30 years old. But I'll pose a question to you guys this now and answer it in the comment section below. If Harry Kane comes in and does a job what Casemiro's done, would you complain? If he came in, had 3 seasons, even maybe 4 at a push, where he gets 20 plus goals every season, would anyone complain? If we sign him for 80 million, I wouldn't. If we sign him for 100 million and he's got a season, 2 seasons in him, then it's a discussion to have. But the way football's going at the minute, players are still playing. You got Lewandowski's 34 years old, and I think he's the top goal scorer in La Liga. Benzema is he's older. Benzema's 35 years old, and he's one of the top goal scorers. So age isn't everything. You still got Zlatan is playing at the age of 40 in Italy. Granted, not as the top level that he was at, but I think the cap on ages at the minute has kind of gone up a bit. So I'm not too worried about that, to be honest. Mate, I've seen so many Ten Hag out tweets. It's mental. Let's not lie. Our fan base are deluded. I've not seen them myself, but if they are out there, then I don't know what to tell them. They need to get a grip if they're saying Ten Hag out, because he's done a phenomenal job. I think if you would have asked everyone, at the start of the season, what do you want from out of the season, given how last season went, I think a lot of people would have said top 4 and a trophy, right? Am I wrong in saying that? People would have probably gone, yeah, you know what, we'll take that, absolutely. We've basically already got that in a minute. We just, providing we don't absolutely collapse towards the end of the season, touch wood, wherever it is. So that's, it's all about perspective, isn't it? I suppose it's all about perspective. Danny Dillsworth is saying, I'm done with old strikers. Jack saying Osman would be a perfect fit. Xavi Simmons saying, did you like Juan Mata? Great bloke, just got utilised in the wrong positions, didn't he? He was, we used him on the right hand side when he was an unbelievable 10 for Chelsea. He got like player of the season 2 years in a row. I just yeah. Would you take Watkins or Tony at United? That's an interesting question. I've always said Tony, but I watched Ollie Watkins against Newcastle on last weekend, wasn't it? And he looked unbelievable. He looked really, really good. Pacer, great finishing, agile, can link up play well. And they're both the same age profile. I think they're both 27 as well. So that's an interesting one. I think they'll both be relatively expensive. That British tax, all that bollocks. Who put it? It's been postponed before. Has it been postponed? Let's find out. Let's have a look. I'll be fuming if it has, because this will be twice now it's happened, to be honest. Which keeper should replace De Gea? It's a good question. Everyone's going on about Diogo. What's going on here? Right. There's some quotes. Diogo Costa's one they're looking at, but it's expensive and he had a bit of a dodgy World Cup, didn't it? But it's been good for Porto. Right. So I've just got quotes here. I don't know why it's not coming up on the thing. So what we'll do is we'll just read the quotes out and we'll do it like that. Let's do that. Because that's I don't understand. I don't have a clue why it's not decided to come on. But let me pop my phone on charge and we'll go through the quotes together right now. Are we set? Right, let's have a look at some of these quotes then. So Simon Stone asked Erik ten Hag why Manchester United have lost badly 3 times in the last few weeks. And Erik ten Hag said, you have to acknowledge it's the truth. We have to do better. I know that. What this team does very well is bounce back between games. What it doesn't do so well is bounce back within games. Which is weird because we were discussing this narrative yesterday on when we did the review of the game. And we were saying, even under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, if we went behind, we'd always bring it back, wouldn't we? If we had a bad first half, the second half, we'd always bring it back. And that was kind of a thing. That was like a staple under Ole. It was really weird. And that added to why we had such a good away record as well. But now, actually in games, we're struggling to deal with it. Especially away from home, we struggle. I think the best away performance we probably had, I think we was good at, even though we lost at Arsenal, I thought we was good there. But Barcelona as well, we went to the Nou Camp, we was pretty good. We probably, I'd say we was the better team at the Nou Camp against the team who's top of the league in La Liga. So that was a pretty good performance. But aside from that, you look at City away, you look at Liverpool away, you look at Aston Villa away, you look at Sevilla away. Like, we've struggled with hostile atmospheres. Now City isn't included in that hostile atmosphere because they've got about 10 fans and they're doing an extension, which I have no idea why, because they can't even fill their own stadium as it is. But that's a topic for another day. So, yeah, away from home, the form is very worrying. You can't lie. It is what it is. How do you feel about last night's game? Fuming. Still fuming from last night. We did a review after the game. So if you want to go check that out, it's on our YouTube channel. Literally a 20-minute video. Well, no, that's a lie. It's 4 of us. It's about 30 to 40-minute video. And it's, just absolute rant central. Erik ten Hag was asked if players are playing for their Manchester United futures. He says, yes, but we always play for our future. Every game is a test. Every season is a test. You have to earn the right to wear a shirt. During the season, we have made huge progress, but we still have a way to go. And I think last night was just a giant reminder. Every time we kind of get a little bit complacent or a little bit ahead of ourselves, we tend to aim for the stars and think and go for all this title talk and we'll smash teams in Europe. And listen, we got destroyed by Sevilla yesterday, who are 5 points off relegation. If you play like that against even a Bayern Munich who got slapped off City, if we play like that against Bayern Munich, we get battered, absolutely battered. So if you want to compete in the Champions League, it's all good getting into the Champions League and getting top 4. But if you can't compete in it, then what's the point? Why are we here? What are we doing? Erik ten Hag also said we deal better with such expectations. The demands on this team, we are Manchester United, they are high. We have to improve it. I have to reach the players and they have to step up as well. On Harry Maguire, there's an interesting quote there. It's just flew up. On Harry Maguire said he has an important role. He is the captain. He leads and he communicates with the manager, motivates the team. He is the example in the training space. I mean, it's all wishy-washy political answers at this point. I think if has anyone seen the film with Ricky Gervais, where it's like the invention of lying? It's like the opposite of that. If Erik ten Hag had to tell the truth about everything, there's not a chance he'd be saying that in a press conference. He'd be like, he's clumsy, he's slow, but because he's the captain and because the club invested a lot of money in him, we have to stick with him at least until the summer. That's what he'd actually say. So when people see these comments coming out, they're like, I can't believe he's saying that. You have to, especially if you want to sell him in the summer. What good is it going to do coming out and absolutely slating him, damaging his confidence because he's the only centre-back option we've got, and then decreasing his value as well? It's not. So you have to back him and say, no, look, he's made a few mistakes. He's done this. He's done that. Blah blah blah. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? He asked. I remember Jose Mourinho doing it with Sanchez. Yeah, Alexis Sanchez. And it was when he was in poor form. He'd scored 1 or 2 goals and he came out in a press conference and he was like, oh, yeah, he's a fantastic player. I can't wait for him to get back. And everyone was like, scratching their head thinking, What? It's been shit. Are you watching the same game that I'm watching? But obviously, he's posturing because maybe there was a bit of interest at the time, or someone might consider taking him on loan. If you come out in the press conference going, no, I'm not happy the way he's training, I'm not happy the way he's doing this, doing that, then the club aren't going to go in for him, are they? Just logical, makes sense. On the club itself, I mean, like I touched on before with Ten Hag, it's been a year since it got announced that he was becoming the manager, essentially. It says it's great to be part of Manchester United, to be part of this football club, but the flip side is you have to prove it every game. That's what we have to acknowledge and be aware of it. You need to prepare every game for a fight. I think we are always playing for our future professional players. Every game is a test. Every season is a test. You have to earn the right to wear the shirt. For me as a manager, we are in the same boat. So, yeah, some strong words out there. Ivan Borkovic is in the chat. Big up to yourself. And he said, "I'll sub. I appreciate you." Shout out to Ivan Borkovic. What an absolute legend we've got. A new person. I've not seen your name before. I'm guessing you're new. But yeah, you're welcome. We have 2 shows every single day. So if you want to smash like on the video, subscribe to the channel, you're more than welcome to do that. We've got 7 lads on the show. Diverse content. Yeah, you'll love it. You'll love it, Ivan. So big up to Ivan. Georgia Kelly is the GOAT. He's in the chat again. Hello, Georgia. How are you doing? Nice to see a familiar face within the chat. Yeah, and we've got a couple more. Another quote here just popped out. I prefer doing it whilst I'm like actually watching it live. I don't like just waiting for quotes to pop down because it's just like, yeah, it's a strange one. Usually these FA Cup ones are because it's straight after the Sevilla game. You can think he's not going to be staying there for a while. It won't be a long one. The Europa League ones are like 15 minutes, but sometimes the FA Cup ones that you get are like 3 questions and they're pretty much done. So it's a bit mad. What's the poll saying now? Let's have a look at the poll. It's going up and down. So would you sell in the summer? Who would you sell in the summer report? 50% Maguire. All 3 said 50%. No one said De Gea. No one said Martial, which is interesting. Very interesting. I'll end that poll for now. Do we have any more quotes? Let's see. Let's have a look, shall we? Is that it for the press conference? I'm guessing. I'll wait until a few more kind of flood through. Get your questions in whilst we're chilling at the minute. Though, Erik is in the chat right now. Pop some questions in about the summer, about a goalkeeping situation, about Anthony Martial. There was a bit of a debate yesterday on the review between Sam and Chivy about the fact that he's just like he's done now. Is he done with injuries? Have you given up on him now? Is it time to sell in the summer, or would you keep him on for another season? Would you let him stay for another season, work along whichever the number 9? If we bring Harry Kane in, for example, would you then have Anthony Martial as a secondary striker and then bring him in as and when you can? Is that how you'd handle that situation? Or would you just try and get as much money as you can for him right now whilst he's at the perfect age profile to get a bit of sale out of him? But it's another one who's on, he's on 200 grand a week. So people, clubs, whoever it is, agents, they're gonna look at this situation, or Martial's agent's gonna look at the situation. They're gonna go, look, Anthony, I'm not. It's gonna be hard, mate, to get you in a club that's in the Champions League and pay a big fee for you what United want and pay you wages as well, like 200k. It's a difficult deal to do, mate. So you're probably just best staying put where you are. I'm not sure how long Martial's got left on his contract. I'm sure. Did Dave say something about the contract situation before with Martial? Yeah, De Gea and Martial have contracts that expire. I don't think Martial does he? I don't think that's right, is it? I'm sure Martial's still got another year or so on his contract. Isn't it 2025 when his contract runs out? I thought. We've got Ross Chipman saying, let Harry Maguire go, Martial go, and Lindelof go. Yeah, I tend to Maguire's just time. As if it wasn't already his time to go. Last night just absolutely cemented that. I think David De Gea, I've for the best part of the season, I've been on the fence about David De Gea, and I've kept it to myself. I've not been very outspoken about it. I've kind of been like assessing it in the background and trying to come to some kind of standpoint on it. And last night for me was the final straw in the coffin. Then it was the straw that brought the camel's back. Essentially, I think if you take the sentimentality out of the situation with David De Gea, all the times he saved us in the past, the times he's got player of the season 4 or 5 times more than any player that's been at United. The longevity of the club, double figures, been here for over a decade. I appreciate all that. He's been a fantastic servant for the club, but there comes a certain point where it's like the direction that we're going. Honestly, ask yourselves this. I mean, whoever it could be, you could be the biggest David De Gea fan ever. But it comes to a certain point where it's the direction the club to go in, the way Ten Hag wants to play. He wants to build out from the back. And David De Gea is not a footballer. He's not a great footballer. He's a fantastic shot stopper, one of the best on the planet, but he isn't a great footballer. He can't play out from the back. He gets stuck, glued to his line. He can't command his box. Yesterday, when he tried trapping that ball a third of the way up the pitch, I couldn't believe what I was saying. Honestly, I stood up and was like, what have I just witnessed there? How can a goalkeeper just do that? I know Alisson makes mistakes, and I know Edison makes mistakes for City and Liverpool, but the way they progress the ball out from the back is so vitally important. A lot of people might look at it, or the older generations might look at it and say, he's doing his job, he's saving the goal. And I get it, he does do that. That is a goalkeeper's job. But now that goalkeeper job has developed. It's just like right backs in the 90s. All you had to do, really, the odd overlap, and just make sure your defensive view was sweet. So Wan-Bissaka would have been great. But now there's a lot more demand on modern fullbacks, bombing forward, dropping into midfield like we saw, like Stones is doing for Man City, like Dalot did for us against Nottingham Forest, like Zerbi uses his wing-backs. They're dropping into midfield for the build-up. So there's a lot more higher demand on wing-backs. And you saw that with João Cancelo as well. He's a prime example of that. He was like, one of the ones I identified first as watching that, that right-back who could drop into midfield. Trent can do it as well, of course, but he's absolutely abysmal at defending. So it's a lot more expected, to be fair. Josh P in the chat, big up to Josh. Make sure you subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, Josh. But it's always nice to have new people on. Saying David De Gea before a Sevilla game had phenomenal distribution in the past 3 games, which is 80% of what everyone has gotten onto him for. The past couple of games, I don't know about 80% and 3 games about the specific metrics. I have seen a couple of weeks, where I've been like, oh, maybe that's a little bit better. But when you look at it as a total package for the season, if you was to go through every single game, the errors that he's made, the bad distribution that he's had, the times he's been glued to his line and not come off it, I think that, for me personally, obviously everyone has an opinion and it's football. For me personally, that overrides anything I've seen from De Gea this season. It does. And I think, one, if you're going to go get a new keeper, the scouting has to be absolutely spot on, because going to Old Trafford is not easy for any goalkeeper, especially if you're a young goalkeeper, because the demand is insanely high. We saw with Martin Dubravka, by the way, who came in and fucked off after 1 game because the lights under Old Trafford completely burnt him out. Your scouting has to be right, has to be the right personality. Has to be. That is the key thing for a goalkeeper. Your focus has to be spot on, because otherwise you run the risk then of getting rid of a lot of us consider a club legend. He is a club legend. He's one of our greatest goalkeepers ever. You risk getting rid of him to bring in a more modern goalkeeper. But then what happens if he starts dropping clangers and gets nervous? And what happens if he starts doing similar things? And if his shot stopping isn't as good, and then people start saying, oh, De Gea would have saved that. De Gea would have done that. That's why it's risky, and that's why it's a big decision to make. And that's why I'm glad I'm not in the board making it, because it is a hard decision. Scholes rightly said De Gea is a good goalkeeper, but not a good footballer. Absolutely. Dave saying De Gea builds up fine when no one presses, but when people press, big teams, when we are away from home, we crumble. This applies to Maguire, Wan-Bissaka, even Varane, Casemiro as well. We really struggle. And I thought that was a feature in the Newcastle game as well, Dave, where Isaac was pressing us. I just think any team, if I'm a team that's playing United now, one thing I'm going to do instantly, if I see Harry Maguire and Victor Lindelof in that back line, I'm putting a quick forward on who loves to press, and just target him. Just target him, because over a course of 90 minutes, you are guaranteed to get something out of him. Guaranteed to get something out of him. You're going to guarantee to force a mistake. You are. It's proven. It's happened so many times. I always allude to the goal against Leicester that we conceded under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, where De Gea kicks out to Maguire, probably the wrong choice in the first place. Maguire dawdles on the ball. Iheanacho pinches it off him within seconds, presses him really hard. gives it Tielemans. Tielemans scores a worldie. And that's an example. That's happened. You could go through the past 2, 3, 4 seasons when that's happened. Just press the back line and we'll crumble. And I think Brighton will do that on Sunday, and I think they'll get joy out of it. And we haven't even got Maguire on the weekend, so maybe that's a good thing. I don't know, but I'm expecting. I don't know who's going to play centre back. Maybe it'll be Casemiro. Maybe it'll be Shaw, but I would prefer Shaw to go in there alongside Lindelof. I actually didn't think Lindelof was awful last night. It certainly wasn't, didn't put a performance like Maguire, but I don't know, man. I think we're terrible when we get pressed, and how more teams haven't identified this is a strange one for me, because that is something I would instantly look at. And every team, you look at the metrics, every team's got joy out of it. But I also appreciate that not every team can press the way certain teams in a certain structure as well. What we're seeing in the TikTok, let me read a few comments because I missed a few. Rosh Chipman saying options are Pau Torres, Yuri and Timber. I'd go for Timber. McD saying I think David De Gea is overrated. I mean, I tend to agree with that, to be honest. Sonny says hi. Hi, Sonny. Tudor says, what's the name of that cup United won again? The Carabao or the Bangkok? The biggest trophy. Who needs to win a Premier League or a Champions League when we got the Bangkok Cup? You know what I mean? Much better cup. Arujo's a fantastic shout. I love that. I love him. That's who I said I'd get to replace Varane. When Varane starts getting a bit leggy, like he's already a bit injury prone now, isn't he? When Varane really starts picking up a lot of big injuries, Arujo is someone I would look at and bring in. And that's another Rangnick target, by the way. Another Ralph Rangnick target. He targeted Julian Alvarez, Enzo Fernandez, Arujo. All these guys at identifying talent is brilliant at. All of them have gone on and had big money moves. Or Julian Alvarez has moved to City. Enzo Fernandez moved to Chelsea for over 100 million. And loads of players that he's mentioned doing really well in Europe at the minute as it stands. So, I don't know. I don't know how I feel about going into this game tomorrow. I'm going to enjoy discussing it with the lads on the preview. We'll be live. I'm guessing about 5 o'clock, usually on a Saturday when we're doing a preview. We're live about roughly that time. So 4 or 5 o'clock, me and the lads will discuss the game in full. Make sure you come and tune in for that. Make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel. Make sure you drop me a follow on TikTok, on Instagram, on Twitter, wherever you're at, whatever you want. If you want clips from the show, follow our Twitter. If you want regular news updates, that's on Twitter. And then if you want, just your kind of statistical things, your news in picture form, your reels, just follow us on socials if you can. Real Red Star. Samuel Mark Ingram saying that I think that Diogo Costa, David Raya, Robert Sanchez, Unai Simon should replace David De Gea. Some Portuguese and Spanish influence there. Maybe Luis Enrique was correct after all. Do you remember when he didn't go to the World Cup and he was like 7? He was like 7th choice, wasn't it? Everyone's like, what the fuck's going on here? But he wants the same principles as what Ten Hag wants. And David De Gea isn't capable of that, I don't think. I don't. I think that's the end of the press conference because there's no more quotes coming out that I can see. I mean, I can give it a little refresh. But like I said, the FA Cup ones are they're a bit small and a bit slow. So I'm guessing that is that, I think. Yeah, pick up everyone in the chat. Make sure you come over to YouTube, subscribe to the channel. We will go live tonight if anything breaks. We've got a week, literally 7 days until the new ownership potentially gets announced because the deadline's the 28th. So maybe we'll hear some little bits over the weekend. Maybe we'll hear something tonight. Make sure you turn on the notification bell so you don't miss a thing. It'll just let you know when we go live. That's the thing. Are you going to the Brighton game on Sunday? I'm not. I tried getting tickets for it, but the only ones that were left were the disabled ones. And as much as people might have you think I am in TikTok, I'm not disabled. So yeah, I won't be going to that. I'll be doing a live watch along. Come and join me for that. As always, guys, take care of yourselves. Have a lovely Friday. Have a lovely weekend. And we'll see you for the Brighton preview tomorrow. Take care of yourselves. Peace.